Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
March in a procession. The veterans paraded down the street. Walk ostentatiously. She parades her new husband around town. A ceremonial procession including people marching. An extended, often showy, succession of persons or things. A parade of strollers on the mall. A visible display. She made a parade of her sorrows. A formal ball held for a school class toward the end of the academic year. A public area set aside as a pedestrian walk. March in a procession. A leisurely walk, usually in some public place. A march of all the guests at the opening of a formal dance. A square dance figure. Couples march counterclockwise in a circle. Take a leisurely walk. The ladies promenaded along the beach. An orderly crowd. A troop of children. A unit of Girl or Boy Scouts. March in a procession. A cavalry unit corresponding to an infantry company. A group of soldiers. Move or march as if in a crowd. They children trooped into the room. To show, make visible or apparent. The Metropolitan Museum is exhibiting Goya's works this month. Something shown to the public. The museum had many exhibits of Oriental art. Give an exhibition of to an interested audience. Walk ostentatiously. An object or statement produced before a court of law and referred to while giving evidence. Show an attribute, property, knowledge, or skill. He exhibits a great talent. Lie adjacent to another or share a boundary. England marches with Scotland. The act of marching, walking with regular steps, especially in a procession of some kind. It was a long march. The month following February and preceding April. March in a procession. Walk ostentatiously. A degree granted for the successful completion of advanced study of architecture. District consisting of the area on either side of a border or boundary of a country or an area. The Welsh marches between England and Wales. Genre of music written for marching. Sousa wrote the best marches. March in protest. Take part in a demonstration. A procession of people walking together. The march went up Fifth Avenue. A steady advance. The march of science. Cause to march or go at a marching pace. They marched the mules into the desert. Force to march. The Japanese marched their prisoners through Manchuria. Walk fast, with regular or measured steps. Walk with a stride. He marched into the classroom and announced the exam. A natural prolongation or projection from a part of an organism, either animal or plant. A bony process. A writ issued by authority of law. Usually compels the defendant's attendance in a civil suit. Failure to appear results in a default judgment against the defendant. Shape, form, or improve a material. Process iron. Deliver a warrant or summons to someone. He was processed by the sheriff. A sustained phenomenon or one marked by gradual changes through a series of states. Events now in process. Institute legal proceedings against. File a suit against. He was warned that the district attorney would process him. March in a procession. They processed into the dining room. A particular course of action intended to achieve a result. It was a process of trial and error. Psychology. The performance of some composite cognitive activity. An operation that affects mental contents. The process of thinking. A mental process that you are not directly aware of. The process of denial. Subject to a process or treatment, with the aim of readying for some purpose, improving, or remedying a condition. Process cheese. Deal with in a routine way. Process alone. Perform mathematical and logical operations on data, according to programmed instructions in order to obtain the required information. The results of the elections were still being processed when he gave his acceptance speech. The act of traveling by foot. Walking is a healthy form of exercise. Careers in general. It happens in all walks of life. Take a walk. Go for a walk. Walk for pleasure. The lovers held hands while walking. Manner of walking. He had a funny walk. Baseball. An advance to first base by a batter who receives 4 balls. A path set aside for walking. After the blizzard, he shoveled the front walk. Accompany or escort. I'll walk you to your car. A slow gait of a horse in which 2 feet are always on the ground. Be or act in association with. We must walk with our dispossessed brothers and sisters. Give a base on balls to. Live or behave in a specified manner. Walk in sadness. Make walk. He walks the horse up the mountain. Obtain a base on balls. The act of walking somewhere. He took a walk after lunch. Traverse or cover by walking. Paul walked the streets of Damascus. Use one's feet to advance. Advance by steps. We walked instead of driving. Walk at a pace. The horses walked across the meadow. Theology. The origination of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost. The doctrine of the procession of the Holy Spirit from the Father and the Son. The act of moving forward, as toward a goal. The group action of a collection of people or animals or vehicles moving ahead in more or less regular formation. Processions were forbidden. A following of one thing after another in time. Acquisition of property by descent or by will. The action of following in order. Ecology. The gradual and orderly process of change in an ecosystem brought about by the progressive replacement of one community by another until a stable climax is established. A group of people or things arranged or following in order. A succession of stalls offering soft drinks. To show, make visible or apparent. National leaders will have to display the highest skills of statesmanship. Something shown to the public. An electronic device that represents information in visual form. Something intended to communicate a particular impression. Made a display of strength. A visual representation of something. Attract attention by displaying some body part or posing, of animals. Behavior that makes your feelings public. A display of emotion. Exhibiting openly in public view. A display of courage. Something shown to the public. The display of a motion picture. A noisy mock serenade, made by banging pans and kettles, to a newly married couple. A noisy boisterous parade. A noisy boisterous parade. A noisy mock serenade, made by banging pans and kettles, to a newly married couple. A noisy boisterous parade.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.